Hello, everyone. My name is Danielle Massey. I'm the Assistant Director of the Advising Office in the College of Science. We've got a couple more minutes, so we're just going to wait for to see if anybody else is going to join us this evening. I know the slide does say NUN spring registration. If you are NU Start, please feel you are in the correct place, and this information is relevant. This was a presentation designed for NUN students, but we welcome you to be part of our presentation. Thank you for joining us, and we're just going to wait a couple more minutes to see if there's any other people that want to join before we get started. Hello, we're just going to wait one more minute to see if anyone else is able to join us this evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Danielle Massey. I'm the Assistant Director of the College of Science Advising Office. I'm joined by my colleague, Eric Goebel. He's an academic advisor within my department as well. The purpose of this presentation is to discuss the spring registration process and to go through this handbook to show you some resources that we've provided to help you go through the registration system and hopefully make that a nice smooth piece for you as you go through the registration process for the spring 2021 semester. I know this says NUN on the handbook. I just want to point out that we have some NU Start students joining us, and I know although it says NUN, every piece of information is definitely applicable for you. So please feel free to utilize this handbook that was sent out yesterday from Amber Watson. Eric will be monitoring the chat feature. So if you have any questions that you want to write down, hopefully I'll be able to answer them as we go through the presentation, but feel free to post things in the chat to post any questions that you might have to him. He might answer you individually or he might post them for the group, and I was planning to end the presentation with some questions and answers at the end. All right. So getting started. So everyone was sent the spring registration handbook yesterday by Amber, or those of you that have been meeting with me, I've been sending them to you after our appointments. So you should have a copy of that. If you haven't met with me, that is fine. I do have a couple of appointments later this week with students. And so that's when we'll be discussing the courses that you will be taking. For NU Start students, you'll be meeting with your academic advisor that was assigned to you to discuss what courses that you'd be planning for. So for this presentation, once you've met with your academic advisor, this is the tool that you would want to use to help with your registration process. To utilize the handbook, it's designed in order of need. So the first 1 to 5 sections is all about academic planning. So the planning period started yesterday when the schedule for the spring 2021 semester was released. So during this period, you have about 3 weeks before the registration block opens for registration week. The registration week will open on November 16th through November 20th. That's what we consider registration week. That's when you're going to want to use sections 6 through 8. So the idea behind this handbook was designed so that you'd go through in the order that you would need the materials. So during the academic planning period, which we're in right now, this is where you'd want to utilize the first 1 through 5 sections. Each of these are clickable links so they can bring you directly to the section that you want. So I definitely encourage you to start by utilizing the table of contents so that can direct you to the section that you need going as you're coming up to the sections as you need them. So the first part of the is going to be the sections 1 through 5. This is for the academic planning period that you can start using today. Now that the schedule's been posted. The first part is the glossary section. So common terms that we use in the advising office, you'll hear us refer to things like co-requisites, attributes, or prerequisites. This is the glossary to help you understand what those terms mean. So things like attributes is when we talk about courses that meet new path requirements. So a lot of you might have been encouraged to complete your new path for next semester or different courses that meet those attributes. So attributes will tell you how the course satisfies or whether it does satisfy a new path, or if it's specifically an NU Start course, or if it was reserved for NU In. Those are things that we put under attributes. Co-requisites are courses that go together as a package. So courses like organic chemistry, lecture, and lab, those are considered co-requisites. The system won't allow you to register for only one part of that course. So that's why we call them co-requisites, because they must go together in order to be able to register for those. CRNs are course registration numbers. I call this like the DNA for the specific sections. So we run several sections of courses that have the same course name, like for instance, Foundations of Psychology. We'll run several sections of those, but to be able to know which section you want, which day and time or instructor that you want, that's where the course registration number comes in. And it's a 5-digit code that says which specific one of those courses of the Foundation of Psychology that you want. I also want to point out holds. Those are things that prevent you from registering. So holds are things that you need to resolve before registration happens. So it's good to know about those holds before you begin. So that way you know, and if there's anything out there that you need to resolve before your registration opens. Prerequisites are courses that need to be taken before or in this current semester. So courses that you're currently taking are included in those prerequisites. So if you're currently taking biology, general biology, that is the prerequisite that you need for biological inquiries for next semester, for example. And I'll show you how you're able to see all of that in just a minute. Program is considered your major requirement. Some will be restricted to majors. Registration errors are considered error messages that you would get as part of when you go to register. So for example, if you tried to register for organic chemistry, but you were missing its co-requisite, the lab, you're going to receive an error message. And so it's important to pay attention to what those error messages are when you're going through the registration, because they might be something that you can resolve for yourself, or it might be something that you need to talk with an academic advisor about. Time tickets. Time tickets are the day and time of registration week that your portal opens. And I want to be clear that once your portal opens, it doesn't close. So it's not that you have to get in there within a certain window. Once it opens, it remains open, but we do it in block stages throughout the week. And it's always based off credits. So the seniors will go first, and then we'll go down from that point. So seniors are first, then juniors, and so forth. But the time ticket will tell you exactly which day and time of registration week that yours opens. Waitlists are for courses that are closed or currently are full. You're able to add yourself to a waitlist. Sometimes, especially in the College of Science, courses with labs, for example, don't have system waitlists, but we do them within the department. So if if a course is closed, definitely reach out to the academic advising office, and we can give you the department contact if there's a waitlist for a course, specifically like chemistry or biology, if there's things like that. But just also know that, like I said, your portal doesn't close, it remains open. So it's important to add yourself to any waitlist that you think you would like to participate in. So if there's a course that you want, I encourage you to add yourself to that waitlist, because then that gives you the best opportunity to make the decision if you would like to go to register for that course if a spot becomes available for you. So moving on to the next section. So this is how you access the registration portal. It is all through your My Northeastern. So you can go through a link right here to your My Northeastern. Most of the stuff that you're going to be doing from now, you can access Canvas through here. So most of the things that you're going to be doing are through your My Northeastern portal. Under the services and links section up at the top will be a search feature where you can put in course registration or course registration new. This is how you access the registration portal. So now that the schedule is available, I encourage you to start going in here and playing around. You really can't hurt anything by going in and adding courses to plans, subtracting courses for plans, and start to design your schedule. The hope is that you go through this, the academic planning period, and you feel very that you have time to explore your options, that you don't feel rushed about, I need to make my decision now, or I need to pick out all these classes now. It gives you time to be able to explore those options, research what you want, read the course descriptions, and really feel like you have a good sense of those. Once you access the portal, this is the screen that you're going to be able to see. This is your landing page, and so once you come in here, this is how you begin the process. This is how you'll access how to register. This is how you prepare for registration, and so forth. I'm going to scroll down to prepare for registration. Here we are. So this is how you begin preparing for your registration. I want to point out that all of my NUN Boston students, that when you go in here, you will see that there is a hold on your account for an academic advisor. We did this over the summer because we didn't want students making changes to their fall schedule without consulting an academic advisor ahead of time. That hold will be removed. So when you go in and you prepare for registration, this is the first place that you want to check. So I mentioned holds before. This is the screen that you'll want to see. So you can see that you're allowed to register, which means that you have an active registration, your registration permit's there. But a lot of my Boston NUN Boston students are going to see that there's an academic advisor hold on there. This is something you can sort of ignore for right now, and I normally don't tell you to ignore holds, but this is one that I can tell you will be removed closer to registration, just because it was put there so that you wouldn't manipulate your fall schedule while we were still going through the process and remove yourself from a course that you absolutely needed for the fall semester. So once that is removed, you'll be able to see that we want green check marks on all of these statuses. Other departments may put holds on your account, like the financial services department, or even UHCS if they're missing an immunization records for you. But the section will tell you exactly what's preventing you from being able to access the registration system at the time. You can still do all of your academic plans, in which you should, but you will want to have that hold removed in time for when your portal becomes available. It is also where you'll see your time ticket. So time ticket was the day and time of your registration portal. This is how you'll be able to access this. For my NUN students, I will be emailing you, letting you know when you're able to go in and access this portal. For NU Start students, the registrar's office will be emailing you directly. So for the two different groups that are in this presentation, NU Start will be getting an email from the registrar's office, while my NUN Boston and NUN Ireland students and my NUN Start students, I know there's a difference with those. So if you're NUN and NU Start, I will be emailing you to let you know when you can go in and access when your time ticket will be available. The next section is on creating a plan. So this is what I've been calling your Amazon shopping cart. And I'd like to point out there is a link to a registrar video here to help walk you through these steps. So if you prefer to watch videos and kind of stop the video as you're going through the process, feel free to do that. So you can watch a video, and this link here will bring you right to the registrar's website to watch the video on how to create a plan. Below here are some screenshots. So if you want to go through tonight or later this week, you can start making your academic plans. So these are like the Amazon shopping carts where you go and you say, I think I want to purchase this, or I may want this. And so you're reserving these for later. So on these academic plans, this is not registration. So you won't be automatically registered from these plans, but it's a place to store your information and start visualizing what your semester will look like going forward. So the course I'd like to register for biological psychology, and that meets on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, for example, at this time, and I'd like to pair that with a calculus course. Okay, that meets at 4:30. Those don't have time conflicts. You're able to start visualizing that for yourself and make these plans. You're able to make 3 academic plans and save those, so an A, B, and C. Some students will like to go through the system and make one ideal plan where they only have the courses that they plan to take for the next semester, and they'll put those and they'll have their A plan, and then they'll have their backup plans, and then another backup plan. And I definitely encourage having backup plans, because when the portal opens, I want to take away that pressure of feeling like you have to scramble. So having these plans already created helps to relieve some of that stress that you might feel at that time. So the plans can be done either ideally with an A, B, and C, or some students will like to put in every course that they possibly could want on one plan. Academic plans don't care about time conflicts. They don't care about prerequisite that you haven't already taken. It basically is just you putting it into the system and saying, these are courses I'd like to plan to register for. If you decide that you'd like to, if you go to register from a plan and you register for the entire plan, and there's more than the courses that you're allowed to take, which are 4 credit courses every semester and any co-requisite labs, the system will register you in order of CRN, or that course registration number. So I just want to point out, if you do that, if you decide that you do want to put any and all courses on your plan, just to, when you go to register, try to be selective instead of just saying register for the entire plan, because you are definitely going to see some error messages with that one. So this is a screen. So when you come into the landing page, you'll go to Plan Ahead, and this will allow you to start creating those plans. When you go in, I want to point out, this says spring 2018. Just make sure you're selecting spring 2021. You can see above this, it does say spring 18 CPS semester. Those semesters are not the ones you want to be looking for. You want to make sure it always says spring 2021, in this case, semester, and not the CPS, or not law school, or especially not CPS quarters. Those are for different colleges or different populations of students, and it will give you completely different courses than you'll be able to register for. The system won't actually allow you to register for those because of the attributes that you carry. You want to make sure that you're registering for spring 2020 in there. And then when it'll bring you to a new screen to create a plan. This is where you begin to start your first plan, and you're able to save multiple copies of them. Like, for example, I said like an A, B, and C. So you're able to select 3. Then that's when you are able to start looking for classes or start your searches pieces. This is one example of how you can go through a search. For students that are saying, I'd like to just take a political science course, this is one way that you can search by using the parentheses symbol. So a number, or like 4,000, 1,000 example, you just do as a 4 or a 1, and then the parentheses says you can fill in any course after this. And so it gives you a way to search for just different areas, or kind of narrow the search that way. This would be a very broad search and give you lots of information, or lots of different courses would be generated. But this might be too much information. So I usually suggest using is the advanced search feature. So back up to that main search page, you're able to put in the subject, but you're also able to use this advanced search section. So this is where if you've been told you should search for a new path attribute or a new path for next semester, this is how you would go in about searching for those. So using the advanced search feature, you can put in which attribute right here that you'd like to search for. So if you were told by your advisor that you were encouraged to take an ethical reasoning course for next semester to complete one of your new path, this is where you can go in and put that information, so it generates a list of just those courses that meet that new path. And it's also a place you can start searching if they meet multiple new paths, and start looking that way. You can search for days and times if you're looking for something specific. So it definitely has a lot of search features that you can use for that one. Once you go in to search for the courses, it will start pulling up course information like this. So this gives you a section for architecture. When you click on the name of the course, that's how you see which attribute or course information. So once you click on the name here, it will bring up a box that looks like this. And over on the left-hand side, you're able to start searching for or reading about the different descriptions of the course. If the instructor's posted a syllabus, you can read that. You can see if there's any co-requisites that go along with this course, the instruction method. You can see the CRN code for the course right here. So it gives you all of that good information about what makes this course specific and unique to you. So as you're starting to build your plans, this is why it takes some time. And so we encourage you to really utilize this academic planning period to start building that schedule. So you'll go through and you'll look to see the information there, read the course descriptions, definitely check the attributes to see if there's any, if it meets the new path that you're looking for, or it might meet a second new path that you're looking for. But I also really encourage you to look at prerequisites. So some courses that are listed in for new path might have prerequisite that you would need to complete. So it's a really good idea to make sure you're checking that beforehand, and any restrictions that the course might have, because your plan is going to allow you to add it, but it may not be appropriate, or it may not be something that you're able to do to add once the system opens. Because if it's looking for a course, like if you're trying to take cognition in psychology, but you haven't taken Foundations of Psychology, which is listed on the prerequisites, the system won't let you add that course. So that's definitely something you're going to look at beforehand. So we've read the course description, you've read through, you know that that it meets everything that you're looking for, and now you'd like to add this course to your plan. So what you do is, you can see that this section's highlighted here. I want to make sure point out that you need to say view sections. View sections is important, because if you just add the course to your plan, it's just adding a shell of a course. It's not adding a specific day or time. It's just saying, I'd like this communications course or this particular course on my plan. It doesn't add the specific one. That's where you need to, when you click on view sections, you'll be able to go in and see if there's multiple offerings for this course. So we often offer multiple sections of the same class, like Foundations of Psychology. We might offer 3 or 4 of them next semester. But to be able to know which day and time you would like, you need to click on view sections. Well, we'll bring you to a screen that looks like this. Then once you decide which day and time works best for you, that's when you'll hit add, and that will add the course to your plan. And you can confirm that here. So down at the bottom of the screen, the bottom two sections will show you the grid over on the left-hand side. It'll also show the pending over here. So you'll need to change it to from the status says pending right here because you haven't officially added it. Once you save the plan, that's when it will be added to your plan for going forward. So you're able to start searching up top here, adding multiple sections, start adding them to your plan down here. So you're able to manipulate and move that around, add or remove them. And then once you save your plan, you'll be able to title the plan as an A, B, or C, and that will be what you'll go to reference for later on. You are able to view any saved plans from before by going back to that plan ahead section from the landing page and going into the select term. So just like you were to start creating your plan, you're going to go into the plan ahead section and then choose the term that you would want to. So these are once you've started creating your plans and you want to look them over and make sure that they have everything that you want on there, you'd want, this is how you are able to view them and manipulate those if you want to make any edits to them before your registration goes. So once you select the term, it will bring you to a screen that looks like this. So you'll be able to see all three of your plans in one single screen. So you can go in here and you can create a new plan right from this page, but you'll be able to see all the plans that you've already created. These are the sections that you'll want to check and review between now and when your registration time ticket opens. So this is all the planning ahead features that you really want to start doing now so that you have plenty of time to read the course descriptions and do your research, talk to faculty and friends to see if they have any suggestions or any input or things like that. So this is the time to be making those plans and start designing what you think you would like to take for next semester. Once the portal opens for registration, so your time ticket has come and it says that you are ready to go and register for classes, this is where the sections that you'll want to start reviewing ahead. So how to register for your plan. There's a video for this section here as well. And so it's register for a plan. So you're able to go back into that landing page and go to register for classes. And I want to point out most likely that most students in this this webinar are going to be registering on November 20th. So just to kind of keep that in mind. So just November 20th will be the date that you'll want to keep access to the internet. So you'll go back into register for classes, select the term of 2021 for next semester. And again, make sure you're selecting the one that says semester, not CPS semester or CPS quarter or law. You'll want to make sure that you're selecting just a spring 2021 semester. When you come in, there's a section here to find classes, enter CRNs, or plans. That's where you want to go to make sure that you're able to view and register from the plan that you've already created. Once you're able to pick to access your plan, you can either register for all of the courses that you've put on that plan, or you can register for individual courses. So like Amazon shopping cart, you can say, I'm going to save these for later and register and not purchase them now, or I'm going to purchase my whole shopping cart. So you have the option to do both of those here as well. So you can register for one off, or you can register for the whole plan that you've already created. And that's personal preference of how you want to do that. So register for all or register individually. Once you've selected either, it will bring it back to a screen that looks like this. So the screen will be similar to what the planning page looked like. Everything will be grayed or pending. So this will show that you haven't officially registered for the courses yet. Once you hit submit, and it's always important to hit submit because if you leave the page before you do, the system won't just process it. Once you do, then you're able to go in and you should see everything that you were able to register for will be highlighted in green as registered. It'll give you any error messages up at the top. So for this one, the student tried to register for a course that required a prerequisite. There's a program restriction for that specific one. So that student was prevented from registering for that course because they weren't that major. you'll need to remove that course. So using this drop down here, you'll be able to remove the course and then hit submit again. So to remove the class will allow the system to kind of kick over to the next section. So it's important to remove those courses if if it is giving you any error messages. And hopefully that means that you're able to register for everything that you needed to, and you're able to just view everything as green. If you're getting any error messages, I encourage you to look at the back of the handbook. We'll give you a description of what that means or what's going on for that error message. So if it says prerequisite, what does that mean? If it's a field of study, what does that mean? All of those descriptions are listed in the error messages at the back of this. So you've removed the course and it will bring you, so it will remove that class from the section, and you can see that the only thing remaining would be the registered courses. Once your time ticket has opened, you don't need to make a new plan. Some students prefer the planning, and so they like to go from that section. But once your time ticket is open, you can just search for classes and register directly from those pieces. So unlike once the time ticket opens on November 20th, this might be the preferred way that you'd like to go in and register for those classes. It's similar to, it's very much the same as making your plans, and the way you search for classes, the options that you have are very similar to how you were making your plans, but this way it allows you to just register for the class versus adding them to a plan and then going to the plan to register, and it removes that extra step that you would have. There is a video available for this as well, so you can go to the registrar's website and view the video on register by searching for or entering CRNs. This is a nice feature if you're planning to take biological inquiries next semester, when we send out the descriptions for those courses, and we're just waiting on one more before we'll be able to send those out. We'll send the CRNs with these courses, with the descriptions. So you could even just register for the one CRN if that's the only course that you need to add to your plan for next semester, or the only one you need to register for. So you can register for just by entering the CRNs if you want to skip the planning part for that one. But I definitely encourage the plans over just doing the CRNs. So you'll go into the register for class section over here. It'll bring you to the same search feature that we've been looking at before. And again, spring 2021 semester. But instead, you'll say it will go to find classes. You can search the same way you did before by searching for categories with a parentheses sign, or you can be more specific. I'm looking for the specific course number. We have the keyword feature that if you can use that as well. Or again, we can use the advanced search feature if that's the way, if you're looking for a specific attribute or if you're looking for a specific thing. So we'd use the advanced search feature. And you could look by campus, you can look by attributes, you can look by lots of different ways to search and narrow your search down. Once it brings up the screen of the results of the search, you're able to look and click on the course name there, and that will bring you to the same information that you were looking at before: waitlist, prerequisites, co-requisites, syllabus. If there's one been posted, you're able to look at that. And then how you'd register for the class. This is where you'd come in. So once we've gone to find classes, this one allows you just to add the sections. So if you're able to view the different days and times, you're able to just add that specific one. You're not going to add the whole shell of a course that would have been happening with this when you were doing your academic plan. So you're able to just use the select the specific course in this case. So the specific CRN within that one. If you know the CRN, you can click on the enter the CRNs here, and you can just type up to 4 different CRNs in and then add to summary. So the adding to summary is going to be that same page that we were looking at before. So you're able to add just the section over here by clicking the add button, or if you know the CRN on that 5-digit code, you can enter those as well and then add both of those. Either way will add that to your summary. And then this one is to if you're adding them to at view sections. So if you didn't have the specific one, if you wanted to, you're looking at courses that have multiple sections, you want to do those. You can add all, or you can add just one-offs from this point. So this one is from your plans, you're able to add just a section or add all, but it will bring you to this section, next screen into your summary, where you're able to see that the status says pending, and then you will do web register. If you want to remove anything or you added something by mistake, this drop down will allow you to remove that. So you can remove that course if that's something that isn't one that you now don't want that course, or you added too many or things like that, and then you'll hit submit. And that will bring you to show you this pop-up. You can see any error messages that it's giving you up here. You'll able to see over the grid will change to, they'll make a more solid colors. It'll actually give you check marks for the ones that you've registered for. But you can see this particular course was giving an error message. The error message was a prerequisite or test score, so the student hadn't fulfilled the prerequisite for this course. And you can see over on this side, it's still in gray or is in a solid color, so you know that it isn't a course that student is registered for. So when you're registering, you want to make sure all of the sections have check marks. And this is what the final screen is going to look like when you've registered for all of the classes, so that you can see everything. Over here is a status is registered, and over here everything is checked. Once you see this, then you know your space in that course has been reserved for the spring semester. If you need to remove any course or you want to do a web drop, for example, if you wanted to change sections to something different, you wanted to move anything down, using the drop down features will allow you to do web drops, so that it will just remove those. So you using the drop down feature, you'll select web drop and then you'll hit submit, and that will be what removes the course from your registration. This next section is called conditional add and drop. I definitely recommend, if you're planning to make any changes. So we were talking before about waitlists, and if you were to add yourself to a waitlist, this is a feature that I highly recommend if you're going to be making any changes to your schedule, is the conditional add and drop. By checking this box down here, if you are to drop a course and then web register for, say, a course that you're on a waitlist for or something like that, you click the conditional add or drop, and if you do this simultaneously, add and drop and hit submit, the system won't drop you from the course that you're currently registered for unless you're able to add the course that you're trying to register for. So for example, if you're trying to add a course and maybe you didn't check the prerequisites for that course or the field of study restrictions or anything like that, if you go to try and add that course and you did a web register, not only would you not be able to go into that second course, you'd also lose your place in the currently registered class. And so this allows you to protect yourself from that. So whenever you're trying to make a swap, I would definitely recommend doing the conditional add or drop. So that way it reserves or saves your seat in that class that you're currently registered for. So adding yourself to a wait list, as courses go and the time tickets are rolling, the blocks are opening up, courses will fill. And so some classes, not all classes, but some classes will have wait lists. So there's a video on how to add yourself to a wait list. And I definitely recommend watching the video. You can tell if a course is full by seeing that there's 0 seats left in a course, which means that currently only the number of seats that were allotted to that section are completely used up. So right now you're able to add yourself to a waitlist. So similar to adding yourself to the course, you would add yourself to a waitlist by checking the add button. It will come down here and you'll use the drop down feature to say waitlist. And then by submitting submit, you're able to add yourself to that waitlist. And the earlier you're able to add yourself to the waitlist, the higher up you'll be. The way waitlists work is that it's going to be continually rolling because, like I said, your window doesn't close. So students are going to be making changes to their schedule throughout the semester, throughout the month of December, the beginning part of January, especially now that we're starting the semester a week later. We're going to have plenty of time for things to be moving and changing throughout the scheduling. So I always recommend adding yourself to a wait list. If you think this is a course that you would potentially want to take for the spring semester, adding yourself early, because that gives you the higher wait list, higher on the wait list. So there's more of a chance that you might get to earn a seat for that. Waitlists do not mean that you're registered for the course. It means that you are on a list for being told that a space has become available. So what happens when a student removes themselves from a full course, the waitlist starts getting activated. The first person on the waitlist moves from space 1 to space 0, and then will receive an email. That student then has 24 hours to add themselves to the course before it goes on to the next person. So the waitlists are always running. The system does it itself, so it can happen at any point throughout the day. But I just want to point out it's 24 hours from when the email is sent for you to add yourself to the waitlist, not from when you open the email. So it's important that if you are on a waitlist, that you are checking it regularly. If you do get an email that says, and so this is just to confirm this is the waitlist course, and you'll submit there when you're done. If you do get an email that says that you are now the first person to register in line for this next course, and it's a course that you'd like to use, you'll come into the registration portal like you were before, and instead of going through the plans, you'll go to your summary section. And instead of web drop, there'll be another section that will say web register. So you'll be able to select web register, which will be added once you are the first person in line, or you're the one that has received the email. That feature will be added to the system. So you'll be able to select web register and then hit submit when you're done. And again, this is this time that I would encourage you to review the conditional add and drop feature so that you're able to reserve your space in any course in there. And actually, just part of the waitlist, we always encourage students to complete their registration. So if you do add yourself to a waitlist, it's fine to add yourself to or register yourself for another course. So you can be in a course that's at the exact same time. For example, if the course is on Tuesdays and Fridays at 9:50 in the morning, you can register for a different course that's at Tuesdays and Fridays at 9:50. And what you'll do is if a space becomes available, you'll go in and drop yourself from the course that you're registered for and simultaneously add yourself to the one that you would rather be in from the wait list. If you need to remove yourself from any courses, if you want to make changes for them, this is the mechanism. You'll use the same drop-down feature that we've been using to add courses or from waitlist or register from waitlist, or remove yourself from them is the same web drop. So web drop is considered withdrawal or removal. It's not a withdrawal because there will be no indication on your record that you were even in the course. It's as if you were never there, and it will just be removed completely. There's a video on this as well, so you can click to this link and it'll bring you to a registration video if you'd like to watch that and walk you through the steps. This next section here is on your degree audit. I'm not going to go through it piece by piece, but if you'd like to look at it, it is in the handbook for you to look over. If there's anything in there that you'd like to utilize, the degree audit is a viewer of your record. So it views all of the materials that you brought in, either transfer credits, IB, AP credit, any of that, the courses that you're currently taking. So it's a way to view how you're progressing through your degree requirements. What I've seen before for my NUN students that this feature is not active just yet. It will be active once we switch over to the spring semester. So this is more of a reference for next semester for NU Start students, not NUN, NU Start, but NU Start students. This should be a feature that you're able to access now and be able to start utilizing to see how you're progressing for those. But for my NUN students, this will become available very shortly. And now I'm going to turn it over for questions, if there's any questions.
One of the questions was on the 1 credit intro course and how they get signed up for that.
Sure. So we in the College of Science will be pre-registering students for specific courses based on your major. The one credit intro course, so some of you might see in the catalog or other places, you'll see a program code like biology, for example, of BIOL 1000 or Psych PSYC 1000. That course is actually going to be INSC 1000 or Science at Northeastern for next semester. So you can search for it now under the interdisciplinary science section. And so you can register yourself, but we will be pre-registering you for that course for next semester. Next semester, it will be completely online and taught asynchronously. So there's no issues of time conflicts or anything like that. So that's a course that we'll should add for you without problem.
Another question I think is just clarification. If the status of a course is pending rather than planned in your plan, that's how it reads, correct?
So if it's pending, it's not actually added to your plan. So you'll need to make sure that it goes from pending to planned if you actually want it there. So without hitting save or submit, it won't officially be added to your plan.
One question I'll just directly address is on if you have something with your plan you've made with your advisor and you're not able to register for that course because it fills up, the advice is to contact your academic advisor. During that week, we hold walk-in hours, and so we'll have a lot more opportunities to just drop in and real quick ask a question. We also try to kind of get them around the major hours that students will be registering, and so then you can take a look at what your advisor Hawkins hours are, or somebody else if you can't meet with your advisor right then, and just to kind of help plan that out. And if you want to prep for that in advance, as Danielle was talking about in making alternative plans, you can look at it and say, okay, what are some alternative options that I have? Meet with your advisor in the week leading up to it and kind of walk through your plans. We're happy to kind of help do that.
Yeah, definitely. So the whole week, like Eric was saying, we do walk-ins to talk about alternatives for that part. But we like checking, or I like checking, I won't speak for Eric, but I like to check ahead of time. So if you have questions, or if you're thinking about a course and you want to throw it to me to check and I'm your academic advisor, feel free to do so. So we can hopefully help solve some of these ahead of time.
One question on pre-registering is, are there opportunities to pick the time and/or professor for those courses?
So this semester, going forward from this point, I know over the summer, we in the academic advising office or for NUN students in the NUN office, we had control over your schedule where you weren't able to say days, times, instructors, or anything like that. That's different now. So we will reserve your space in specific courses based on what your department has said is necessary. And so I'm going to put a little caveat. I don't recommend changing those courses because those tend to be courses that either fill quickly, and so we want to reserve your space in those. So those courses, you have a seat in that class, but if it is conflicting with another course that would progress your major, you could change that time. So you will have full control over your schedule going forward. But I will just say, if you are pre-registered for a course, I recommend staying in that class just because it might not be one that you're able to change into later. But if you do that, make sure you're reading that conditional add and drop section so that you reserve your space in a course before you drop it if you're not able to add to the next section.
One question is there a way to narrow the registration search to just NU Start courses?
Yes. And that would be through the advanced search section. You would use that as an attribute of NU Start. If you're looking, and we will get a list of all of those. I know they're still finalizing a couple of them, which the advisors will have available to send you just the CRNs so that when you're looking at your sections or what they are, you'll be able to see those. A big indicator is that it's completely virtual, but you can see them under, and you can definitely confirm under the attributes section if the course is an NU Start.
one student's asking about how can you tell if you're pre-seeded into courses?
So we're still working on the pre-seeds, but they will appear in those in the course map. So when you start seeing, you go into making your planning ahead, you will see them there. So they haven't been finalized just yet through the registrar's office, but you'll see them populate shortly.
And students are asking, is this presentation going to be recorded and accessible?
The hope is that it is recording right now, and I will be able to send that to Amber to send to the NU Start students, and I'll be able to send it out to my NUN students. If for some reason I wasn't able to do this, this is my first time using Teams to record the presentations. If I don't, I will do it again, and I will send out a recording shortly.
That is really all of the questions at this point.
Okay, do we want to wait for about a couple more minutes just in case somebody is typing to give them a couple more seconds? And if you have questions, it's a great time to email your academic advisor. Just know this is a busy time for advisors, so we do allow for 3 business days upon receiving an email. So if they're received during business hours, we will answer or respond within 3 business days. But if you have questions, that's a great opportunity to reach out to us. And just going through again, you can't hurt the planning system, so definitely go in and play and see what move things around, see what features it has available, because right now we're purely in a planning stage, so you're able to go in and really see what the system has to offer and search around, read the course descriptions, so be able to see what's available to you. And I see that there's a question about course maps. So yes, all of the majors have course maps planned in the college catalog. So that tells you how a student could go about completing the requirements and what's recommended in there. I will tell you that most students don't meet these plans because most students either take something different in the fall semester or they brought an AP or IB credit, so they shuffle it around. But if you're looking for kind of a tentative plan, you're able to see the course maps that way. For the NUN students, next semester you'll be you'll be assigned to your major specific advisor, and that's when you'll meet to develop your academic plan. So if you want to be 4 years with 2 co-ops, or I think I want 4.5 years with 1 co-op, or whatever the plan is, I want to do study abroad, dialogues, any of that, you'll be able to map out next semester with your academic advisor. So you'll know exactly what categories you'll be looking at and going forward, and how we manipulate the courses so that you're able to see how things go around. When I was advising, I always called it chutes and ladders, because what you do in one semester will impact what you did in a different semester. So you'll be able to see how we do that so that you'll be able to start doing it for yourself. So we're coming up on the end of the webinar. If there's any last minute questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Well, Well, if there's no other questions, I'd like to thank you all for coming. I hope to send out the recording as soon as I'm able to. I will send it to Amber for the NU Start students, and for my NUN students, I'll be sending it out directly to all of you. But again, if you have any other questions, feel free to email. Have a good night.